Everyone, welcome to another webinar about latest developments from Prevu3D. Today I have two colleagues joining me, Philippe Bédard, that's a usual suspect on those events and webinars. Hey Phil.
Hey, good afternoon.
And we have Jay, one of our latest newcomer in the company, but if you've been in the 3D scanning space for a while, specifically around Navis. You might have seen him in trade shows and other places. Hey, Jay, welcome to this first webinar for you, and actually welcome to the team. It's been a couple months already.
Thanks, Michel. Pleasure to be here.
So before we go into the product, let's take a few minutes just to talk about your experience so far being part of Prevu3D. It's been what 2.5 months now about, and so get your impressions and why did you go from Navis to us? And so if you can take a few seconds to talk about that, that'd be pretty cool for people to hear more about that, and also a bit of your experience. I think it's really relevant on everything you've done in your career. And that's why we hired you, obviously.
Certainly. Customer success team here at Prevu3D. I like to play the key role in providing expert support for advanced 3D visualization and point cloud solutions, and also ensure that our customers have a really powerful tool to utilize. Jumping from the hardware to the software side really gives the flexibility to kind of help steer customers into a long-term solution, which really helps them with facility management or asset generation or just day-to-day project-driven aspects, which I have over 20 years of experience with. So Prevu3D has really kind of provided me that aspect to kind of harness the background and the future of where I want to go and help those customers along the way.
Good stuff. And just coming back from Geo Week last week, certainly we're definitely a cool cat on the industry, and now people are excited about what we're doing and the product and a lot of the changes and some of the stuff we'll show today in this webinar. For anyone attending, if you have any questions, please feel free to put some comments and we'll take questions as we go. We like to make these things as interactive as possible. So don't be shy if you want to ask some questions or need some clarification or you don't know what we're doing. We'll certainly can answer any of your questions. So let's get started. So I have a bunch of new stuff, and there's a few things we'll show also on some upcoming stuff and some other stuff that we have that not everybody might know about what our product does. So one thing we've been getting a lot more attention since we now have like full point cloud hosting, sharing viewing capabilities is some of the scanning providers have been asking, well, hey, can we have a white label configuration so we could put our branding on? And not just show the Prevu3D branding into the web interface. And so that's something that we've been asked for a while now. And we decided to tackle that just recently in this release 25.2. And again, if you don't know the naming convention of our releases, 25 because we're in 2025 and .2 because we're in February, like easy enough. And so here we're showing how we can configure a subdomain URL, the default language, any specific SSO configurations if you want, and then have the branding showing up into the product. And so that's definitely something that we've been working to continue to listen to customer feedback and make these type of features very useful here. That's why so we're showing at the same time, the integration we've done with all these device-based support of different inputs, so improving the quality of the input as well and the white labeling capabilities. So that's one. Phil, Jay, any comment on that? You want to share about your own experience about that? I know that's one thing I've heard a lot in trade shows about this white labeling capabilities.
Yeah, I think it brings a lot.
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead, Phil. I think it's in order to provide a seamless branded experience to a team, white labeling is just a necessary add-on that everybody should be able to utilize. You pay a lot of money to host your data and provide a long-term solution. Why can't you brand that?
Yeah, and I think
exactly.
being able also really to it's not only like scanning providers that can brand this, but even our customers, it help them to customize the space, and it feels like more natural inside their software stack in a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's definitely something and we're going to keep on adding more customization into the product. We're certainly, if you haven't noticed recently, we basically are on a cadence of having a monthly release. And so we're going to have a lot of updates in the coming months about new stuff, new capabilities. And so that white labeling is definitely one of those that we're really happy about that we just released, and it's available for all of our customers at no cost. There's no cost to white label the platform. You just need to set it up. Our customer success team, more than happy to help you set it up. And once you've done that, then you have your branding, your logo, and your subdomain URL that you can use on there.
And also regarding the release process, don't hesitate to join our newsletter as well. Every time we will do a release, it will be announced to our user base. So if you want to stay updated on that side as well, it's pretty important. It's include the release notes and all the details of the release as well. So it's quite useful.
Absolutely. So another one that obviously we're quite known for our meshing capabilities and displaying these amazing mesh environments into our system. But now with these capabilities of hosting point cloud, obviously we've been working to make point cloud usable beyond just converting it to a mesh. So of course we've been adding recently like viewing the point cloud and sharing it and all that stuff, but we didn't have any form of measuring capability. So we've started to add some measuring tools so you can now also measure on the point cloud directly into our web platform, RealityPlatform, so you don't have to go somewhere else to do any measurements on the point cloud or then also measure things into the mesh environment.
Yeah, it's also possible to pick the coordinate system. So even before creating, let's say, a mesh version of your point cloud, it can be relevant to check your coordinates, make sure you are using the right coordinate system. So you can like pick a control points from your point cloud and make sure that they match coordinates-wise. So it can be quite useful as well on that side.
Yeah. And so one thing that's important to understand is that, of course, meshing is a great way of visualizing and understanding space, but where we're going is actually combining more and more different type of visual capabilities. So either you want to look at your CAD models, your point cloud, the mesh, and of course, there's more and more buzzword about Gaussian splat and other visual display capabilities. And so we're looking to blend all of these things into a single viewing experience. So it becomes a lot more seamless for users independently of the type of visual reference you're using to understand your space.
Yeah, and this is really a big deal for Prevu. Meshing being the background of where we came from, being able to measure and coordinate within a point cloud, the single source of truth, then I think ultimately everybody's going to feel a lot more comfortable bringing their data to our platform and utilizing our data from cradle to grave.
Absolutely. Could not have said it better. Another feature that we've added, and again, we're doing like these releases have big features, sometimes smaller features. It's all obviously a lot about bringing the product to more maturity, right? So we're adding a lot of capabilities, and the next one is really much on that about improving to understand what's going on in the system. So we've been working on having a notification center. So when you're launching jobs for processing and other things, it's always been a bit more challenging for our customers to understand, okay, what's going on, what's ready, and so on. And so this new notification center is the beginning of a lot more in-app information sharing with the customers. And of course, you can customize some of the settings of what you want to see or not into your notification center. But again, these little details making the product a lot more usable, easier to understand what's going on, and having these notifications to know, okay, well, this specific processing job that I launched yesterday or a few hours ago, is it still processing or it's ready, and so on. So definitely, and we'll add more capabilities on that in the next few releases, but that's definitely another key part of how we're improving the maturity of the web platform.
Yeah, for this release, it was especially the foundation. So we laying the ground for more as well. So for now, it's really the processing. Also, you will have some notifications regarding your subscription management. So if you're about to reach out your storage limits or things like that, we will notify you beforehand. So this way you don't have any surprise if you reach some limits down the road on your subscription.
Exactly. So again, it's all about making the product more reliable and trusted. As part of that as well, part of our longer term vision is that, so basically, you end up managing facilities, sites, and other assets into your environment. And a key part for us where we're going is really this ability to make things searchable. And so we've added, again, the beginning of supporting search at the platform level. So right now, it's very much about searching for sites and other data sets that you have in the system, but we'll expand the search capabilities. So a lot more advanced search, including pretty soon, like, searching for assets and other things like that. So really pushing how you can find information wherever it's stored in a given site or a given folder into the storage environment. So you'd actually have a better way of finding what you're looking for.
This update really helps save time and enhance your overall experience, I think, within Prevu3D. Being able to search for an asset quickly is going to help streamline a lot of people's workflow.
Yep. And like for me, like as much as sometimes I know where the folders are, I'm always using a search bar for anything I'm doing. Like I search my mail, I search any like even Google Drive, I use search to find things that's much faster than clicking around folders. So again, pushing the search capabilities is going to be a key element to accelerate data access and getting to what you're looking for and what you need to do into this environment. So Victoria is asking about asset search. It's not in this update. It's going to be in the next few updates. It's going to take maybe a couple of releases more, I think, Phil, right? That's going to take just a bit more time. But yeah, we're getting exactly in that direction to enabling searching for assets at the platform level. Also, for those that are using RealityPlatform for doing design layouts, our vision is to enable where within your design layout that you can start searching for assets that are wherever they are in different sites and be able to copy those assets, these virtual assets, into your design layouts to accelerate your design iteration process. So that's all part of those, like different building blocks and pieces of puzzles are coming more and more together. And that's what you're starting to see here with this initial search, and we'll have asset search pretty soon.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your assets that are defined across multiple sites can act as a 3D library when you're doing design projects. So that's kind of one way to see this.
Yeah. And so what's key there is like exactly, so as you're defining your reality assets in whatever site, that basically builds a library of assets at the same time, right? So it's a really key element of everything we're building into this platform play that we've been working on. Another thing, again, small little admin things, but it's important to make those improvements. So we have more admin control for subscription and user management into the product as well.
Yeah, so now under the settings panel, a new tab called subscriptions where you can see what you purchased, what's the units that you have. And there's some link as well to the usage summary, so you can monitor your subscriptions there. There will be also some new features, like the renewal date will be shown, I think, in the next release or so, as well in there. So it will help you to monitor that part.
Exactly. So a lot of little details, but makes it a lot more convenient for administrators and users to work and navigate the platform. So these are some of the key features.
I think one of the key features of that is the ability to actually, oh, sorry, definitely a delay. I think one of the key things is being able to look at your data sets and figure out and prioritize which ones are larger than others. So from a project management or a facility management perspective, you actually know where the legacy or the long-term data is really accumulating to keep yourselves kind of ahead of the schedule. And if you are running out of stuff, you know where to look to kind of free up some space or just catalog all your data as needed.
Absolutely. Now we're going to look at a few features that have been released in the past several months or a bit more, but I kind of like this section about like, did you know? There's a lot of features in the product that are there, but you might not realize that they're there. And one of them, actually, we were showing a customer recently, and they were really mind blown about that specific feature, because when you think about things right now, like people are either in a point cloud, data model, or they're looking at the panels or the photospheres, or they're looking at a mesh model, or they're looking at a CAD model. So there's no real integration of these different data models into a single viewing experience. And that's another thing that we're changing to the product, is to enable different data representations coexisting in a single environment. When you think about it, like an asset, like a pump, basically that pump will have a point cloud version, a mesh version, a Gaussian splat version, a CAD surface model, or P&ID representation. It's the same asset. And so how do you start having these type of visual representations starting to combine together to create new ways of visualizing the information? So for example, the mesh model is great to segment the assets to do design engineering work, but sometimes the mesh is not perfect. There's like some artifacts, the shapes and the surfaces are not going to be perfectly like you would look into an image. And so one of these capabilities that we have in the product is to be able to use the panels, the photo mode, but actually with the assets that you define, to be able to click on those assets like you're in 3D. This is not a 3D view here looking here. This is actually an image view using the 3D scan imagery, but you're actually clicking on 3D assets. So it looks very like you're in 3D. So you're getting all the visual fidelity of the imagery, which is great, but you still get all the selectability and data access that you would have in a 3D environment. So really starting to combine these different modes and visualization and data access in a way that I don't think any other product is doing this at this point, and certainly something that is unique to us that makes it where if you're showing this to like a non-technical, non-CAD person, this is a great mode because they could use this on, there's no cost for our users on our web platform, and they could just say, oh, I just want to explore the environment and click on assets and see some information. I'd like to access some information that's connected to my ERP that's visualized to this layer. But you're in an image mode, so you're actually getting all the visual quality and not wondering why is this a CAD model with some simplified version of the model or a mesh model that might have some artifacts, right? So you're really creating this new world of visual quality that are quite interesting for different use cases.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, for non-technical users, I think
it's the best reality.
Yeah.
Regarding the non-technical user, I think you bring a good point where for them, navigating inside the 3D space might be a bit more complicated, where navigating between 360 pictures is much easier. So it's a good way to consume the information that may be underlying on the 3D model. You can go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, get it.
All right. 100%. You just summarized everything I was about to say, Phil.
I think you have to raise your finger when you want to talk, Jay, because there's a bit of a delay. So we would.
For sure. Sorry.
Michael is asking if we can show how to remove certain parts of the scan. So I don't know, Phil, if you can set that up. Like we have a few more things to show in the videos we have, but maybe as you're preparing, we can show that afterwards. So Michael, we'll get back to your question at the end of the webinar to show how we can actually cut assets from the environment, which is definitely one of the key features that we have. Another thing, is in the whole world of segmentation, there's certainly a lot of work we're doing, a lot of companies exploring that. But one part that's always complicated is like piping, right? Because piping, it's a very complex, object, right? It's not like if you're extracting a machine, the machine has a very definite spatial definition. Like it's usually closer to a rectangle shape than anything else, but piping can go in so many ways into a facility. So how to help someone to define their piping, even with some very basic manual tools. And so what we're going to show you in this next video is actually that, like how to create some very quick piping isolation, and also piping that might have like, splits or T breakdown. So here you see that we're going to define a piping in a couple of ways. So I'm going to define this first section. And then we're going to go in the middle of it and say, well, we want to continue this piping system and continue defining this piping. So I hear it like, yeah, this is still a manual tool, but very quick. In a few seconds, you're able to define this volumetric shape. And you can see here, this is not just a line that we drew on the piping. This is actually creating a volume. And so when you look at how we can generate these segmented assets, and also with all of our latest work we've done with the Reality Connect to bring these segmented assets into CAD or design software like Revit, certainly this is making the process of isolating a piping line very quickly, and then be able to visualize this into the environment.
Yeah, and I guess Jay, maybe you can comment out. I think you did the video recording over here, and I think it was quite easy to do on your side.
Yeah, it was, raise my finger so we don't have a delay. But no, it was super easy to figure this out. Our tech notes in our document section will outline how you do it. Just simply trace the pipe, and then you just go right to the center node where the next pipe is going to be and select that node and draw down. And then you can just adjust the diameter of that pipe. It's really straightforward. Name it as needed and move forward.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty simple here. This is great. Another, so we've talked a lot about Revit over the past couple of months. Obviously, that was our first plugin. We have more plugins along the way that's coming in the next several weeks and months. Two of them that we want to showcase now into this webinar is the work we've been doing with NVIDIA on Omniverse in bringing, again, these segmented assets and other data models into Omniverse. And so I think that's the next part of the video that we have, right?
Yeah, sure.
So again, like the whole principle of our platform and these connectors we're building is to facilitate moving data around different systems. And a key element, right, that's really good to understand is like, yes, you can save files on disk and export a GLB file or an OBJ or an FBX and then save it on disk and then to another software and load that up and so on. But it's a lot of back and forth, and you need to understand which file formats are better for which 3D software to make this integration work seamlessly. And what we've been building is really masking all this file I/O as part of the plugin. So here you see in Omniverse, I'm able to select specific asset and say, can you bring this specific asset, which can be a room, a specific machine, or a pipe system? And I will just bring that specific asset into a specific software, like here in Omniverse, without having to wonder, like, in which file format do I need to save this, or which density, and so on. You have all the controls within the interface. So streamlining product-to-product transfer of information. So that's something we're hearing a lot about our customers, that they see this as a huge accelerator to move and integrate data from Preview into other software.
And even the coordinate system, it's always a challenge for those who have worked between different software. You always, sometimes it's like Y hub, sometimes it's Z hub, sometimes it's left hand coordinate system, sometimes it's right hand coordinate system. So all that tricky part is removed by the plugin because it's all handled under the hood.
Exactly. So good news for anyone attending here. So Omniverse, and also we're really happy to announce, I don't have a video per se, but we're also announcing that we'll have very soon the Bentley system MicroStation support as well in this type of connection. And so if you're interested in testing the beta versions of those two plugins for Omniverse and for Bentley MicroStation, please let us know. I think our marketing team is going to share a link into the comments, I believe, to sign up for beta or contact us at support@Prevu3D. As easy as that. And our customer success team, led by Jay, will be more than happy to work with you and having you test these integrations we've done for Omniverse and Bentley MicroStation.
Certainly, be sure to let us know. We'll certainly be reaching out to our existing customers to make sure that you guys are appropriately handled from any kind of beta tests, whether it be the SolidWorks, the Inventor, the Omniverse, or the Bentley tool, or the Plant3D. All coming in.
Exactly. Very, very soon. Phil, are you able to show the cutting of
Yeah,
an
sure.
asset? I know that Michael has that into the section, command section. So again, this is a unique feature we have in how to easily isolate an asset and then be able to cut it literally from the scan. So here we have a specific piece of equipment. I want to remove this to bring in another equipment per se. So we're going to use like here the cutting tool, but you can also use like any asset you define into the interface. You can also select this asset and say cut the asset. So there's a few ways of cutting equipment or elements of your scan. And you can see here now that we just basically deleted from the scan data the actual machine, and that can be actually reused as a asset component. And so if you want to move it around and say you want to do a design layout and just move this piece of equipment somewhere else, you can do that. We can even like use our real-time clash detection to see if this asset can go through certain areas, and then we can measure clearance above the size of the asset itself. So there's a lot of convenient tools there to help validate if the asset is fitting a certain area, but also does it clash, or does we need more clearance to move this equipment around a certain piece, like we're showing here. Like there's a bit of collision here against the beam, which obviously that would be not a good thing to go through there. And so again, these are all the tools we're building into the product that makes it very seamless to modify your space, bring in new CAD elements, new design layouts, save this onto our web platform, share that for collaboration. And of course, like Phil's showing here, bring new CAD elements, either previously scanned data or other CAD models that comes from various CAD systems, and really just use that as a way of redesigning your space very quickly in a few minutes, instead of taking days in a typical workflow. If you were trying to use reality capture data into a CAD system, that would be a lot more painful, a lot longer than what you're seeing here live, actually, that what Phil is doing. So I think that was pretty much the end of all the features we want to show. Is there any other questions? Welcome, Michael. Any other questions that anybody have? Things they'd like to see? Any questions about where we're going? And we're more than happy to answer any of your questions, as well as Jay and Phil.
Good question, Michael. Yes.
Yeah.
That is
so
possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So let's see. Go on, Jay. Go, Jay.
You can import the RVT, the Navisworks model, or the IFC. I think Phil probably has a model that he's bringing up right now. We'll illustrate how we do this.
Yeah, I don't think I have on my side some Rivet models on my computer, but yeah, we can for sure, and I can paste in the chat the import workflow from our documentation. Absolutely.
So we support a whole wide array of CAD models. So you can actually, if you cut the space, let's say you want to, let's say you have a data center and you want to remove all the existing equipment and bring a new CAD design for your new servers, you can actually dig out all the legacy equipment you want to decommission from the site, and then bring in your CAD models, and that can be Revit files, of course, and make that a new design iteration into our platform and use that for sharing, collaborating with different users. Victoria is asking about if the Omniverse support will address the Creo models. Not sure about that. That's a good question. I don't know if Creo supports USD files. That's a good question. We should check that out, and Jay or someone else, customer success, will get back to you, Victoria, on that specific question. But certainly, we are looking to add more data interop and support for different CAD systems. And Creo is definitely one that we're starting to hear more requests for.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you, Victoria.
Yeah,
good answer for you.
Cool. I think that's all we had today. That's pretty a lot of stuff for just 1 month of a release. I guess if you don't have any more questions online, we'll thank you for attending this update on the product. And I guess we'll see you next month. And we'll have other webinars with, I think we're planning one around Omniverse as well, and other things, and other partnerships that we're working on one that I'm not going to mention just yet, but I know we're working with different companies, including one very interesting one about piping tools to collaborate with our solution, and that's something will come pretty soon as well. A lot of good stuff coming from us, and thank you for attending, and wish you a great end of day. And if you have any questions, email us at support@prevu3d.com or at info@prevu3d.com, and more than happy to answer any questions. Our team is always very happy to listen to your challenges and see how we can support you with our existing product or improve the product on your suggestions. And as you can see, we're moving in a very fast pace to improve and add capabilities to the product per se. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jay, Phil, and we'll talk pretty soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.